good, guys? It is Reed, and welcome back to another video. This is a very special video. This is the return of the Sleight Off, episode 4 with myself and Jorge Anido. Now, what is the Sleight Off? It's been a while, so there are many new subscribers who may not know what the Sleight Off is. The Sleight Off is a collab series between myself and Jorge where we challenge each other. We give each other 3 sleights and we have to create a full brand new effect routine, and then we perform it. It's a little bit of a friendly competition. You guys vote, let us know which effect you like more, and we have a whole lot of fun. It's really creative. We get to push each other, give each other some little tricky sleights and things like that, and try to stump each other. This episode is a little bit more special. We did something a little bit different. So in this episode, we picked a consistent plot. We each have to do the same style of trick. And for this week, we went with the ambitious card routine. So we're each gonna be doing an ambitious card routine with 2 sleights given by the other person and 1 restriction. So what's a restriction? Well, a restriction is exactly what it sounds. It's something that we are not allowed to do in our routine. So this series has been an absolute blast to make. We've both had a lot of fun, and it is back and it is here to stay for a while. We got a lot of cool ideas like this, different curveballs and ways to change it up, so stay tuned. Make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video where I tell you what sleights I gave Jorge, and then you can go over and check out his video on his channel with his performance. Like I said, we're each doing an ambitious card routine, and Jorge gave me the cascade control, a color change using the classic pass, and his restriction was no doubles of any kind. No double lifts, no pretending 2 cards is 1, no doubles whatsoever. So that was very interesting and a little bit tricky, to be honest, especially in this type of routine. But I'm glad he gave it to me. It was a good challenge. In terms of the sleights he gave me, cascade control is something that I'm fairly familiar with. I do a similar version of it called the Victoria, actually, but it's basically the same thing. It's just a slight modification. And so that I was fine with, and the classic pass I don't use much, but I can do. So that was cool to use a color change in the ambitious card routine. Now, the restriction is where I was not worried at first. I was just thinking, oh, I just can't do a double lift. It's pretty straightforward. But then as I started to think about it, I realized a lot of the controls I wanted to use involved getting a double at some point, you know, not even using it as a double lift, just pretending 2 cards is 1. And so when I realized I wasn't gonna be able to do that, it was definitely a bit of a curveball, but I made it through it. I have an ambitious card routine that I like, but it definitely was not going to work for this, and so I had to kind of start from scratch, and I wanted to come up with a bit of a storyline to it. You know, I'm not a big fan of ambitious card routines, so you know, they're pretty flat and boring, so I tried to think of something a little bit different, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. Now, my ideas for this trick, the first thing that jumped to mind was the idea of using the random card generator and having a card appear on the top right at the beginning, a random card they're truly random, and so that's what I went with. I had an idea of talking about like doing the ambitious card and pretending the card was like Jorge, and like he was like, I was gonna tell a story about how like he's stuck in the middle and then he kept rising to the top, but it was pretty funny. But I don't know, I got stumped on a few of the different things, and so I took it in a bit of a different direction and just told the story about the Jack of Hearts, as you guys will see in a bit. I had some ideas about using like a jumbo deck and different things like that. Those didn't really pan out, but then I really went through my controls that I like to use besides the one he gave me, controls and switches that don't use doubles, so stuff like the dribble control, bow to stern, stuff like that. And so I used that and put that into the routine, and then tried to come up with a little bit of a story where each action I can kind of translate to a part of the story and talk about the Jack of Hearts and why it's my favorite card and what I like about it. So that is what you will see. So I won't keep you any longer. I hope you guys enjoy this performance that I call the Ambitious Jack. All right, guys, I want to show you a little trick here with this deck of cards. Now I need a random card selected. It can be any one of these cards. I need a sort of a placeholder card. So we use the generator. We get the 5 of diamonds. And like I said, any one of these cards could have been chosen, but it went with the 5 of diamonds. So we will use the 5 of diamonds. Now I want to tell you a little story about my favorite card, which is the Jack of Hearts, as many of you may or may not know. So the Jack of Hearts may seem like a very middle of the pack card, especially when there's all of these other cards to choose from. But for me, it's always on top. No matter how obviously sort of mid the Jack of Hearts might seem, to me, it's always number 1. Now, the reason I love the Jack of Hearts so much is that through it all, no matter what, even when all this weight's dropped on its shoulders, it always finds a way to rise to the occasion. Now the Jack of Hearts has definitely not always been my favorite card. You know, at some point it was the Five of Diamonds, or it could have been any different card, but it always seems to change my mind. I gotta be honest with you guys. Hasn't always been good, hasn't always been positive with the Jack of Hearts. There's been some ups, and there's definitely been some downs as well. But the thing is, even though sometimes things get a little violent, and you may think the Jack of Hearts has simply passed to the bottom, but it hasn't. It's actually passed all the way through the deck to the very top. Now, through it all, like I said, even though if it starts on the bottom, it'll always slowly find its way right back up to the top of the deck. So I hope you guys liked that routine. It was pretty fun, pretty cool for an ambitious card routine. I really like how the slap thing turned out, you know, where I slapped the card through the deck visually. I thought that was really cool. And some of the other controls all looked pretty nice. Basically, I just used a bunch of controls that don't involve a double and tried to tie it into that story I was telling you guys about. So what did I challenge Jorge with this week? The two sleights I gave him were the DPS and the second deal. I chose those because I don't think they're used very often in an ambitious card, more of like a card to pocket, or a second deal is like a gambling thing. So I wanted to see how he could incorporate those, because I had a few ideas and I'm curious to see what he comes up with. Now in terms of the restriction, I know he loves the classic pass and some other passes, so I said no passes whatsoever, and that was my restriction, because again, that is one thing that is used too often in an ambitious card routine. All right, so make sure you guys like this video, subscribe, and then head over to Jorge's channel and check out his video with his performance. Drop a like over there, subscribe, drop us a comment, and let us know what you liked about each performance. Also, if you guys want to comment some other ideas for the Sleight Off, some sleights that we could use to challenge each other in future episodes, let us know. We would love to hear them. Leave those in the comments. And yeah, so I want to thank you guys for watching the Sleight Off, supporting this channel and everything with it. I really love this series. It's a lot of fun, super creative, and we both enjoy doing it. I have a very, very special video coming out in the next probably 3-4 days, brand new series, and it's very exciting. You guys are gonna love it. Probably my favorite video I've ever made, and it's so awesome. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers. Thank you for watching. Make sure you go over to Jorge's channel, as I said, and we will leave it at that. So with all that said, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and I will catch you guys in the next video.